united by music, yes, but with love for peace. Thank you so much. Thank you, Europe.
How did the EBU to almost ruin the Eurovision Song Contest? And why did the international juries had to step in to save the competition? To understand that, let's first set the context. Our beloved Eurovision Song Contest was created in 1956 by the European Broadcasting Union, which we will call simply the EBU. Israel is a member of the EBU, and they are participating to the contest since 1973. The country is regularly in the center of controversy due to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. This conflict, which dates back decades, involve Israelis, who are predominantly settlers from Eastern Europe, against the indigenous Palestinians of the historic land of Palestine, over the sovereignty of the territory. On October 7, 2023, Hamas, considered as a terrorist group by the European Union and the United States, launched an incursion into Israeli territory. Armed to the teeth, they attacked the Israeli population, resulting up to 1,200 casualties. In response to this terrorist act, the Israeli government literally destroyed the Gaza Strip, causing over 30,000 civilians casualties, half of whom were children. Prior to the 2024 Eurovision Song Contest, tension between Israel and Palestine were at their peak. The controversy surrounding Israel's participation to the contest was due to those recent events. As a reminder, in 2022, following Russia's invasions of Ukraine, the country was banned from the contest. Additionally to that, Belarus was also excluded for attempting to send a politically charged song. The majority of Eurovision fans called for boycotts to protest against the Israelis' participation. Some countries expressed their support for Israel and its right to be a part of the competition, asserting that the show should remain apolitical. My ass. At the end of December 2023, an association of Icelandic artists demanded to their broadcaster to not participate to Eurovision unless Israel was excluded. A month later, a collective of 1,400 Finnish artists asked for the same demand. After numerous statements in favor of Israel's participation, the EBU definitely dismissed the idea of its exclusion in mid-February. They reiterated the political DNA of the competition, a founding principle claimed in its regulation. The Eurovision Song Contest is a music event and a competition between music public service broadcasters, member of the EBU. It's not a competition between governments, said Noël Couran, the Director General of the EBU, to the agency France Presse. He also addressed the comparison between the exclusion of Russia in 2022 following the Kremlin's invasion of Ukraine. Comparison between wars and conflicts are complex and difficult, and it's not for us to make them. You know this famous excuse of, it's too complex to take a stand. Coward. For months, the contest organizers tried to ease tensions surrounding Israel's participation. However, calls for boycotts continue from both artists and internet users. Despite some attempts at appeasement, such as that Ollie Alexander, the British contestant who flip-flopped after signing a petition accusing Israel of apartheid and genocide at the end of October, he stated that he rejects calls for a boycott and wants to unite people and call for peace through his participation.
You are complicit in a genocide by taking part in Eurovision, which is quite extreme. It's an incredibly complicated political situation, one that I'm not qualified to speak on. It just so happens there's a song contest going on at the same time that I'm a part of. People are in despair and want to do something. It's meant to be an apolitical contest, but that's a fantasy.
It's funny to see how he was signing petitions, being loudly pro-Palestinian when he was stranded to do it, and then when his chance of not doing the Eurovision Song Contest came on the table, he flip-flopped. Meanwhile, billboards promoting the event in Malmö were vandalized. Pro-Palestinian activists threw bombs filled with red paint, and on social media, the contest's slogan, United by Music, became United by Genocide. Remember when I told you that Belarus in 2020 was excluded from the contest for attempting to sing a politicized song in favor of Russia? Well, the Israeli delegation sent to the EBU a song to promote their propaganda and their pinkwashing. The controversy around the song erupted in late February, when the Israeli delegation submitted to the EBU a song titled October Rain, a title immediately interpreted as a direct reference to the massacre of October 7th. The song is rejected as being too political, despite the Israeli government outrage. Anyway, they are outraged of anything and nothing in the same time. They should rather be outraged about killing kids, just my opinion. Israeli Culture Minister Miki Zohar wrote on X, Israel's songs to be performed by Eden Golan is a moving song that expresses the feelings of the people of the country today. The broadcaster, which initially threatened to withdraw if the song was rejected, eventually reworked on it and tried again with a new song titled Dance Forever, which specifically references the Hamas attack on the Nova Festival Music on October 7th, where 364 people were killed. Of course, we know today that a lot of them died because they were just in the middle of the shooting between the IDF and the Hamas. But once again, the song is rejected. It's only with the third proposal, titled Hurricane this time, that Eden Golan gets the approval of the EBU. But still, Israel can help but politicize the song. Indeed, on March 10, the music video is revealed, featuring a group of young people dancing in a plane before a hurricane hits them. But again, the EBU does not exclude them and just let it slide. Another blatant double standard. The now confirmed participation of Eden Golan in the Eurovision Song Contest continues to be controversial. The 20-year-old Israeli-Russian receives death threat on her Instagram account, prompting the EBU to speak out on the matter once again last April 9th. We strongly support freedom of expression and the right to express his opinions in a democratic society, but we firmly oppose any form of online abuse, hate speech, or harassment targeting our artists or anyone associated with the contest, the organization states in a release. And once again, when it comes to defend Israel, they are capable of speaking out. Additionally, Eurovision set up a dedicated FAQ section on its official website specifically addressing Israel's participation in Eurovision. Internet users can find answers to the most common questions, including why is Israel still a member of the Eurovision Song Contest when Russia has been suspended? Or why does the Israeli song have the right to compete? Of course, they repeat the same phrases over and over again, but of course, they will never tell you that in reality, the biggest sponsor of the Eurovision Song Contest is an Israeli company called Moroccan Oil. Just days before the grand final, calls for boycott continued, the latest being from 400 Irish artists who, in late April, called on their contestants Bambi Thug to withdraw from the contest. Fortunately for us, she did not. Bambi has been one of the most emblematic contestants this year. Known as the Witch, she has been one of those who have strongly advocated for a ceasefire in Gaza, and she has paid a price for it. Indeed, on the day of the final, she told us on her Instagram story that throughout the week she had regularly reported to the organization that she was being harassed and photographed without her consent by the Israeli delegation.
כל פעם מסתובבת עם הדגל, אבל זאת עם המפלצת, הנה זאת, עשה לנו פחד, כל הזמן. ואנחנו בתמורה עשינו לה לב גדול מאוד.
I remind you that taking pictures of people without their consent is illegal in Sweden. Furthermore, during her performance on the first semi-final, the Israeli commentators took the liberty to insult and curse her on live TV.
כחלק מהזהות הבינארית שלהם.
הם גם מעדיפים להשחיר על ישראל.
אולי נדבר על זה בהמשך. הכינו את הכללות.
They clearly violated several rules. Of course, the organization remained silent and did not respond to Bambi. Another case of double standards. A week before the start of the contest, the EBU announced that only the flags of the participating countries and LGBT flags will be allowed on the site. This de facto includes the Israeli flag but excludes the Palestinian flags. Bambi once again was forced to change her makeup 1 hour before her performance by the organization because they realized that the words ceasefire were written on her face. Double standards! Numerous videos circulate on social media showing security personnel removing people from the audience because they had a Palestinian flag. I remind you that those people paid a lot of money to be there and they were removed from the venue because they had a Palestinian flag. Ugh. Furthermore, on the day of the final, non-binary flags were excluded from the arena since both non-binary contestants in this edition were openly pro-Palestinian.
By some to bar Israel's contestant, while the ban on Russia after its invasion 2 years ago was for the most part consensual, this call is
amidst the tensions, and as Sweden raised its level of security last summer due to Quran desecration incidents, the atmosphere is tense in Malmö. In the city, where a significant portion of the population is of Palestinian origin, the conflict between Israel and Hamas has added a new dimension to the preparations. Several months before the contest, Ulif Nelson, the city's security chief, had already received numerous requests for gathering both in protesting and in supporting of Israel's participation. A petition titled No Eurovision with Israel participation gathered over 800 signatures and was discussed in a mid-April city council meeting. Given that in 2013 Malmö residents had already protested against Israel's participation, organizers did not anticipate that this time it will take a much larger scale, a gross miscalculation. Throughout, several tens of thousands of people protested this year against Israel's presence at the contest throughout Eurovision week. Over 20,000 people were present outside the Israeli contestant hotel on the morning of the final. I'd like to point out that I have nothing to reproach Eden Golan for, except the fact that she is representing a state that flouts international law. She has behaved exemplary during her week in Malmö. However, the same cannot be said about the Israeli delegation. Many journalists from Cannes, the Israeli broadcaster, are said to have provoked, intimidated, and harassed our delegations.
Where were you? We missed you on stage.
Sorry, can you stop that? Can you stop that, please? Can you stop that, please?
We didn't know why.
Why are you doing that?
We just missed him on stage.
Can you stop that, please?
Please don't touch me.
Yes.
Please don't touch me.
I came across a tweet from a Franco-Israeli journalist who referred to the press room as dirty people because supposedly they applaud when Israel didn't receive points from the jury. Apparently it didn't occur to him that they were also applauding for other countries to get points. Several fan media outlets have testified of this shameful behavior and lack of professionalism of these so-called journalists. Alicia Michel, ESC Gabe, Eurovision Charts, ESC Tom, The Balkan Guy, and the list goes on.
Guys, I am currently in the press center. What I have seen and experienced here is nothing short of horrific behavior, in particular by one delegation. That delegation is the Israeli delegation, and the broadcaster is Cannes. What they have been doing to a number of artists, and also beyond that, what has been made on social media by staff of either the delegation, the team of the artist, or journalists working for the national broadcaster, is nothing short of harassment and intimidation of other.
And of course, all of this have been reported to the EBU on social medias. And we all know, guys, the EBU is constantly on social media. However, every time they were mentioned to be informed about any incidents involving the Israeli organization, they became blind, deaf, and mute. And just when we thought that things couldn't get any worse, they became catastrophic. The butterfly effect is a concept in chaos theory which suggests that small initial variations in a dynamic system can lead to drastically different outcomes in the long term. This means that an initial event, no matter how minor, can have significant and unpredictable repercussions over time. Before we continue, I just wanted to clarify that on Tuesday night, during the first semi-final, the energy was incredible. The show was amazing, the audience was amazing, the artists were amazing too. We were just about to have the best Eurovision Song Contest that we've ever had. However, Wednesday, when the rehearsals of the second semi-final started in front of an audience, the atmosphere drastically changed. Because for the first time, we realized that the Israeli contestant was going to be booed by the audience. Personally, I didn't expect that. I imagined that there will be some incidents, but I never imagined that 15,000 people would boo Eden Golan. Regarding Eden Golan, I think if I were her, honestly, I would have given up. After my first rehearsal in front of an audience, 15,000 people booing me. I've been diligently following the Eurovision Song Contest for 12 years now. I watched the contest when Russia was here, in 2014, in 2015, and we had some people booing Russia. But in all my life, I have never heard so many people booing, insulting and cursing a single singer. I understand the fans' frustration, but as a human being, I cannot help but think that what this young girl experienced was horrible. But I do not hold the audience responsible for this. The audience reflects the energy it receives. Unfortunately, for the last 7 months, every time the public had Israel on their phone was to watch kids being crushed under the rubble, a mother crying, or a man holding the remains of his kids in a garbage bag. The only responsible for this is Martin Österdahl.
Supervisor Martin Österdahl, what can you tell us about the result?
Yeah, good evening.
The crowd have turned on Martin.
The moment of truth has arrived. And I can tell you that we've checked and verified all of the results, and we're ready to start revealing the results.
Some of the crowd
of the grand final
not
result.
happy with the EBU this year, and Martin's the face of it, so
you're good to go.
He's getting that response.
A special arrangement should have been made so that she should not sing in front of the audience. She could have stayed in Israel, sung in front of a crowd who supported her, or maybe she could have simply not participated in the Eurovision Song Contest 2024 if the producers had been a little courageous to disqualify Israel. However, despite the hate that she got in the arena, she qualified, and we knew that this was going to happen. However, what surprised us was that Rai, the Italian broadcaster, leaked supposedly by mistake the results of the public vote of Italy. It should be noted that in Western Europe since the beginning of the week, the media has constantly talked about Eden Golan. I'm French, so I will speak about the situation in my country. We talked more about Eden on TV shows than on Slimane, and Slimane is a huge star in France. We had political figures, certain elected officials of the nation, the president of the French National Assembly, dozens of far-right influencers, campaigned all week on social media to encourage people to vote for Israel. I don't know if you realize, but the president of the French National Assembly found nothing better to do than get involved into the Eurovision context. And then they are talking about Eurovision not being political? Dummy. Moreover, there were also dozens of pre-recorded videos of Eden speaking in several different languages, which have started to appear on YouTube. Even myself, I was just here on YouTube, wanted to watch videos of influencers that I was following for a while. I saw the ads of Eden speaking to me in French, asked me to vote for her before my videos get started.
with 6.
Ciao a tutti, votate per Hurricane, numero 6. Bonjour a tous, voté per Hurricane, numero 6.
Hola a todos, votate per Hurricane, numero 14.
Casas, se fiste to Hurricane, numero exi. Pogisalme bit huelas, kma mejcit Hurricanes, numeri exi. Chich Witskim, zaglosujcie na Hurricane, numer 6.
Ahoj všichni, hlasujte pro Hurricane, číslo 14.
Hallo zusammen, stimmt für Hurricane, numero 6. Ciao svima, glasajcie za Hurricane, broj 6.
Hallo allemaal, stem op Hurricane, nummer 14. Përshëndetje të gjithëve. Ju lutem votani për Hurricane, numri 14. Svejtë në hativisti, balsojet par Hurricane, 4 numurs. Inselem lil kulhat jek hëgjëpkom i votawal Hurricane, numru erbëtash.
Tere koigile polën halet e gelon nombre neili teist polt Hurricane.
That's unprecedented in the history of the contest. I don't even know if it's legal, if it respects the rules of the contest. She even had the right to a giant screen in New York to promote her performance at Eurovision. And the result of that, of all this propaganda, was what we saw when the Italian broadcaster showed us the results of the second semi-final. Israel dominated the televote. She finished with 40% of the Italian vote. To be honest with you, I don't believe for a moment that was a mistake. My personal belief is that someone within that channel decided to show the results, to warn the judges that Israel will dominate the televote on Saturday night. And a few hours later, Israel began to rise among the bookmakers. She, who had remained on the outstreak of the top 10 since the beginning of the competition, was now in second position to win. The pressure is mounting among Eurovision fans on social media and on site as well. Tens of thousands of people have protested throughout the city of Malmö, in front of the arena, in the town square, and below the hotel of the Israeli delegation. On Friday, during the dress rehearsal, Jost Klein did not take the stage. His entire setup was present, but at the last minute, everything was removed. He then went on stage, and in the running order billboard, they removed the flag and the name of the Netherlands. The EBU announced that an investigation is underway regarding an incident involving the Dutch contestants. No other information will be revealed until, I think, the next day. During the Jewish Yost performance from the semi-final was broadcast for the judgment, while the rest of the world's votes were supposed to be open on Friday night on the EBU website. It was impossible to vote until Saturday noon. Once again, no communication from the EBU. At noon on Saturday, the organization announced that Jost Klein was disqualified for violent behavior towards a camera woman. This came as a shock to all Eurovision fans, as he was one of the favorites to win. And it was at this moment that the Dutch broadcaster decided to finally explain what happened in a press release. In concrete terms, they decided that the EBU would not get away with it so easily. An incident occurred after last Thursday's performance. Against clearly more agreement, Jost was filmed when he had just gotten off the stage and had to rush to the green room. At that moment, Jost repeatedly indicated that he did not want to be filmed. This wasn't respected. This led to a threatening move from Jost towards the camera. Jost did not touch the camera woman. This incident was reported, followed by an investigation by the EBU and police. Yesterday and today, we consulted extensively with the EBU and proposed several solutions. Nevertheless, the EBU has still decided to disqualify Jost Klein. Avrotros finds this penalty very heavy and disproportionate. We stand for good manners, let there be no misunderstanding about that, but in our view, an exclusion order is not proportional to this incident. We are very disappointed and upset for the millions of fans who were so excited for tonight. What Jost brought to the Netherlands and Europe shouldn't have ended this way. It sure did. When I read this press release, I just realized that he was excluded for a movement of the arm, like, something like that, or maybe he was getting closer to the camera, but he didn't touch her, he didn't insult her. So to me, I think in reality, they chose this pretext to get rid of him. They wanted to get rid of him. During the press conference of the semi-final, he didn't hesitate to point out the EBU.
Do you think that your song can unite us all by music?
I think that's a good question for the EBU.
Thank you very much. We continue.
And they don't like this. Furthermore, when the organizers wanted to help the Israeli candidate avoid answering an embarrassing question, he pushed her to answer.
You don't have to answer that question if you don't want to. Why not? If you want to answer.
Exactly.
Please.
I think we're all here for one.
The next day he was excluded. Justice for Jost. The Eurovision was the dream of his life. And also, people bought plane tickets, train tickets, took time off work. They paid accommodation on site. They paid a lot of money for tickets to attend the Eurovision, to support Jost. And at the last minute, they were told that he would not take the stage. What a shame. You have zero respect for the people who literally made this contest a big thing. We are the Eurovision Song Contest. We paid for this contest. Literally, we paid for it. This is about public broadcasters, about fandom, fan media. You have to respect the people who wanted who paid money to see him. After that, everything was a mess. Later in the afternoon, the Italian contestants, very, very furious, go to the press room, share a message of peace and sing John Lennon's song Imagine.
Music, and who share the same dream. Last night, I performed on that amazing Eurovision stage with my heart full of love. I went to bed so proud of myself and proud of us all. Today, once more, I just want the music speaks. And this is the strongest message I can share today. Imagine there is no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us.
Then a few hours later, before the final, during the last rehearsal, Slimane interrupted his performance. He didn't do his a cappella moment, and he delivered a message of peace and love too.
Everybody, I just need to say something. I'm sorry I don't speak English very well, but when I was a child, I dreamed about music. I dreamed about this dream to be a singer and to sing peace. Here, every artist here want to sing about love, sing about peace. We need to be united by music, yes, but with love for peace. United by music, yes, but with love for peace. Thank you so much. Thank you, Europe.
Throughout the day of Saturday, several spokespersons from Finland, Norway, Netherlands revealed on social media that they would not announce the points from their juries. So at this point, we are Saturday, 8 p.m. I'm lying in bed and I realize that the EBU has literally lost the control of the contest. It's 8 p.m. I have tears in my eyes. I'm disgusted. I don't want to watch the show anymore. All the Eurovision specialists, YouTubers who usually do live streams to watch the final with the fans, they are all announcing that they will not do it, or if they do it partially, they will not do the results. The fan base is more divided than ever at this moment, and that's the fault of Martin Oosterdal. It's in this extremely tense atmosphere that the Eurovision Song Contest 2024 Grand Final begin. The pressure is felt until the end of the Israeli performance, and then suddenly, I don't know what happened. I felt some kind of magic started to happen. Let's be clear, all the artists were fantastic during the Grand Final. All of them. Additionally, 2 contestants stood out for their courage. The Italian artist used her dress and flag to display the Palestinian flag on the Eurovision stage without the organizers realizing it.
Italy.
The Portuguese artist also wore nails in the color of Palestine, and the EBU decided to sanction her by not posting her final performance on the contest YouTube page. But this courageous woman didn't hesitate to mock them by brandishing them when she received 12 points from the jury. At this moment, Yolanda is Katniss Everdeen and Martin Ostodal is the President's no. However, speaking on the jury votes, I'll be honest with you, I don't know what happened. I am convinced deep down that whoever leaked that Italian vote saved the contest. When the jury saw that Israel was going to be massively supported by the televote, they just decided to not vote for her. By the end of the 7th jury, she was still at 0 points. She ended up getting like 50 points. And if like me, you know this contest, if like me, you are watching it every year, you know that in normal circumstances, this song will have finished in the top 5 of the jury. Let's be real, when the jury vote was over, I was so relieved. And I remember getting on Twitter and everybody was just celebrating. We were like, whew. We knew that no matter what happened, she wouldn't win. The jury saved Eurovision 2024. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I couldn't be more grateful that we still have the juries in the final and we still need to cut the juries in the final. Let's be clear, if Israel had won, the venue would have erupted. Lauren would not have gave the trophy, people would have been fighting in the audience, others will have thrown projectiles into the green room, the stage will have been invaded, and countries like Greece, Iceland, Norway, Ireland wouldn't have participated the following year. You think that if Israel won, those countries would have fly to Israel next year? No. Clearly no. Out of sheer dogmatism and also pure financial interest, the EBU almost completely screwed up Eurovision for good. Ukrainian artist Aliona, in an interview upon her return to Ukraine, recounted that throughout her experience in Malmo, she and the other participants were under immense pressure. They were forbidden from conveying a political message to their attire or drawing on their skin. They were constantly monitored, subjected to body searches. How could this happen? How could this happen?
Вирішили не ризикувати, не вдягати на артистів. Чому? Щоб ви розуміли, такого шмону не було ніколи. Це, по-перше, якби нас дискваліфікували, оскільки її одягли учасники команди, то могли б їх забрати з залу, а нас би залишили все одно. Бо якби дискваліфікували нас в наступному році, взагалі б не пустили. Щоб ви розуміли, там таке було, там заклеювали будь-який напис, заклеювали будь-який бренд. Якщо в тебе десь на нігтях, на обличчі, тобто аполітичне пресування було дуже велике, не дай Бог якийсь заклик. І ми, от ризикуючи тайком, вирішили всі отакі повдягалися. Ой, вибачте. Ми ж не можемо, типу, як артисти, зійти зі сцени, там нікого не пропускають. Ти в грінрумі, тебе не випускають, тобі нічого не можуть принести. Просто все жорстко, і наші такі, просто в один момент, ми давай всіх обнімати отак, просто. Але ми зробили це.
And I honestly believe that in the weeks to come, an incredible number of revelations will be made about everything that happened behind the scenes. I also think a lot of people, starting with Martin Ostodal, must resign. The number of contestants who spoke out after the final to share suffering they endured during the Eurovision week, it's insane!
For winning, I am so proud that all of us are in the top 10 that have been fighting for this shit behind the scenes. Because it has been so hard. It has been so hard. And I'm so proud of us. And I just want to say, we are what the Eurovision is. The EBU is not what the Eurovision is. Fuck the EBU. I don't even care anymore. Fuck them.
I broke the code and I broke the trophy. Maybe the trophy can be fixed. Maybe Eurovision needs a little bit of fixing too every now and then.
Woohoo! It's shameful. I've never saw this ever. So yeah, to conclude this video, just thanks to the juries, we are still here and we'll be here next year in Switzerland. And well, I don't know if we're all gonna be here next year in Switzerland, because obviously now the fandom is... I've never seen our community so divided and broken. We're going to have to rebuild everything so that such a mess never happen again. This capture is currently our state of mind. I know it's just a music competition, but this contest has brought so many joy and happiness through my life. And the idea of it being corrupted like this breaks my heart. We are all united every year together, celebrating diversity, share together. We were united by music last year, yes. Not this year. Not this year. I'm sorry, no. No, it's not possible to continue to have Israel in the competition for the next year. It will be the same thing. It will be worse. It will be worse. It's so sad for the artists who work so hard on the performances. We have the perfect lineup with incredible songs and spectacular staging. But forever this contest will remain the one that the fans never want to relive. We don't want to relive this contest. I don't know if I want to watch it again. I count on you to like this video, share, follow me on Twitter and TikTok. Also like the videos and share the videos of those who are coming to like me, who will denounce the scandal that this season was. We were robbed. We were so robbed. This edition of Eurovision will forever be remembered as the most toxic and healthy and psychologically challenging that we've ever had, and that's on you, Martin Osterdahl. And it's so sad because I was sure that it was going to be the best Eurovision that we've ever had. And look what it is now. A complete chaos, a complete mess, a shit show. All of this because of Israel. I give it one more chance. I will watch it next year, one more time. If it's still this garbage show that we had this year, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok, like the video, comment, and see you next time. Bye.